So I put together another wish list. I was say list wish for villains this time around. So we're gonna do it one more time before the game comes out, and something different. I'm not talking about protagonist characters or heroes. We have too many good guys and these protagonist characters in the game. Where are the villains at? They're not iconic themselves. And I'm gonna run through a quick list that I have in my description, and as you can see, it's some of the characters that you can see on the thumbnail um, of so many unique characters, and there's still missing protagonist characters like Timmy and Jimmy that I would like to see. It might be some licensing issues. It could be, and some of these characters might not even make it into this game. It's like Timmy Turner, for example, from Fairly Odd Parents and stuff like that. But I have a list that I put together in just one more time before the game comes out in a couple days, and you guys can let me know whether it's a protagonist or somebody that you like, whether it's a good guy, bad guy, or whoever it is that you like the most. And I know some of you guys are talking about SJ9 from My Life as a Teenage Robot. I also have a character that's a villain that I'm putting into the list. Queen Vexus, or Vexus from that actual TV series, I would like to see added into the game. But we're gonna run through the list for a couple minutes and just share real quick. Let's start with Plankton. See what imagine if Plankton was in the game from SpongeBob. They got three SpongeBob characters in this, and it's so many. It's more characters from a certain TV series, like three Ninja Turtle characters, three Avatar characters, three SpongeBob characters that I just explained. And look at the screen. You got two Loud House characters, one character from Hey Arnold. Why isn't Arnold in this game? You see what I'm saying? And Reptar, one Rugrats character to represent that TV series. You see, so it's so many possibilities and slots for different characters to make the spotlight as DLC. So Plankton being maybe a hard to hit character could be possible. Let me see, DoodleBob, and I had this little idea. With just remember from the episode, he would run around with the pencil. He can probably just start using the pencil and maybe have like a charge attack, hitting people with his eraser and stuff like that. That'll probably be something cool to see in the game. But speaking of Ninja Turtles, just like I mentioned with three Ninja Turtle characters, they don't even have all the turtles in the game. How about Shredder? Get Shredder into the game, and he can be using his sword techniques and sword combos to combo the opponent, and with a series of strikes and stuff like that. He could be like Link with a mix of some of the Fire Emblem characters that run around with their swords in Super Smash Bros. He can have his own techniques of his own. So Shredder is another good choice. So we're just going through the list, and going back to Fairly Odd Parents. How about Mr. Crocker or Denzel Crocker? So you have F's on the paper and just be attacking. That could be some kind of unique, just goofy attack. Slapping people with pieces of paper, and they can be like projectiles of papers with the letter F on them. So he was usually just known for that from the show, just giving out F's on it to all the students in the classroom. So that could be something, just a little bit of an idea. And if they don't get Mr. Crocker, how about Vicky or something like that? She would probably count as a cool little villain that really annoyed Timmy Turner and stuff like that as the babysitter or something. But I didn't put her in my list. It's just somebody that I just really brought up if they couldn't get Mr. Crocker in or Timmy Turner or whoever, or Cosmo and Wanda, them have them just have unique attacks and stuff like that. Um, Danny Phantom's already in the game, so let's kick it back to that series. Iconic villain from that series, Plasmius Vlad Plasmius would be pretty cool to see, and I'm putting him in my villains list. The Jimmy Neutron series from Evil Sheen. Remember when Evil Sheen had that giant head taking over the world and taking over Retroville? That could be an actual map in the game. So even if they can't get Jimmy Neutron in the game, maybe they can actually get the stage as a new map, a new playable stage that you can play, and head on over to Retroville. See, it's so many ideas these developers can do. And moving on to the SpongeBob series, yeah, SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy is in the game. But how about Man Ray? I put Man Ray in the Dirty Bubble in my list of villains for iconic villains to be a part of this game that they can make. Dirty Bubble can have some nice projectile attacks and being able to float. He probably won't even be. He would have some easy recovery, so he can get back into the stage. So he can just be able to float for a little bit, similar to how Jigglypuff can just be able to float a few times, and Kirby and Jigglypuff in a way. So him being a dirty bubble, he wouldn't even really. He would probably have like a good recovery to get into the stage. So, blowing up bubbles or something like that. Any sort of projectiles that can do like continuous damage and stuff like that from the dirt, some infliction for some kind of status effect with dirt or something like that. They can make that really work. That's just a little idea for the dirty bubble. So I already talked about Man Ray as a potential villain, and Zuko. See how we already have. We just got Toph. We just got Aang and Korra, who I thought originally wasn't even going to be in the game. I thought they were going to be DLC characters. So let's get some villains over from these Nickelodeon shows and these iconic TV shows that we watch. You see all these, it's too many, protagonists. Let's get Zuko. They can get somebody else from um, the firebending group to be added into this game outside of Zuko if they can't get him. And then Roger from Doug, because I already mentioned Doug as my previous wish list. I put Doug in it because that show is iconic too. How come he isn't in the game? So maybe he can get his Roger into the game. He had the little green face with his little angry face. That'd be something that would be cool to see. I'm not sure what kind of abilities he'll have, but Roger will probably have some good little techniques and be able to shine in this game. Just somebody from that Doug series, if you guys remember Doug. The intro is great. But just wrapping up, I already mentioned Queen Vexus from My Life as a Teenage Robot. I would like to see her in the game, but if they can't get SJ9, maybe they can get Vexus or maybe somebody else from that series, and maybe some other iconic villains that you guys can probably think of. But I just wanted to quickly run through some of my favorites that I would like to see. Plasmius, Mr. Crocker, just some unique attacks and some ideas. The Dirty Bubble having some sort of status infliction to inflict continuous damage on opponents and stuff like that. And it's just so many unique ideas that they could put together. Plankton having these unique gadgets, even though he's going to be small and hard to hit, like maybe Sirbot was from Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that. He can have his own unique gadgets that he can summon and different sort of robots or minions to help out in the fight against opponents. So you see what I'm saying? It's so many different things that they can do and put together with these characters to make anything possible and more playable characters to fill up the roster. So that way it's not going to be these characters that are just heroes and protagonists. Let's get some villains that are iconic because they also make the shows what they are now. It's not just the protagonists and the heroes for the stories, but it's the villains themselves that make the shows really funny, even though they might not have their way and be able to go through with their plans. They still make the shows iconic, just like Mr. Crocker does. But let me know what you guys think of this list and maybe some other characters you would like to see added into this game in the near future for DLC.